Move back.
We're going to get stuck in, guys. Let's rock and roll. So first and foremost, again, today is about results that therefore will equal retention. Come up with this one as well, myself for you guys, because it's something that's going to deliver a lot of value. We will do a short Q&A segment. First, if you're watching this on recording, don't forget to hit the little follow button on the YouTube channel and turn on the reminders. We have always got content coming out, and therefore you will be kept up to date with that. So with that being said, let's get stuck in. There is nothing else to it. So I've got some notes here, guys. So just to pre-frame, I think I'll give my little intro spiel, and then we're going to go into this new piece of content. And this new piece of content, I think there's one person that has this implemented into their business, so it's all new content. And then, like I said today, top 5 apps, all right, to get the best client results that therefore will equal retention. And there will be at least one of these apps that you guys have not used or have not come across. I pretty much guarantee that. First and foremost, let's pre-frame then, guys. So retention is everything. And when I actually put this webinar together and put these notes together that I've got in front of me, like when you actually delve into it and you think about it, without retention, you'll never grow a business. And what you'll actually do over time is you'll just have a reputation that goes down the shitter, and you'll actually quit the industry. So because your retention is a reflection of your results that you get your clients. Thanks for the subscribe there, Tammy, on the YouTube. We appreciate that one. So with that being said, guys, it's that simple. If you can't retain, it's a pure reflection of the results that your clients are getting. Would people agree with that? Like, does anyone want to chip in with that? Like, it's pretty self-explanatory. And again, if you want to go to the levels again that we've got, multiple people here: Nave, Tane, Phil, Michael, obviously Jade, yourself being part of an organization where there's multiple trainers and you're going through scale, right? Without retention, you're basically screwed. And it is that simple. Now, with that being said, the people that get the retention in their business, the hole in their business to be as small as possible, scale the quickest. It enables you to get the most out of your marketing. All right. It does enable you to get the most out of it rather than constantly filling up a hole. So always make sure if you're at the start of your journey with us, guys, and just like I said before to Zach, you're still going through stage 2, brother, chipping away. Execution of all of those foundational sort of structures we put in place is there to minimize this retention hole in your business. So ideally, just make sure that you've gone through everything to make sure the hole is as small as possible. Now, the new piece of content, all right, to minimize the hole in your business when it comes to retention, right from the off. With Charmaine, this came about 6 to 8 months ago. Obviously, a lot of you guys know Charmaine. We spoke about this, and we've put this into place for online business owners, and it's worked wonders. So does anyone here run any online services as well as face-to-face? Because I think most of you are face-to-face. Morgs obviously is online. Now, with this being said, guys, we put together a motivational Kickstarter. What this is a video which basically outlines and pre-frames the journey that your clients are about to go on. And what this does is it basically makes them aware that they're not alone. They will go through ups, they will go through downs. And as long as they work with you, all right, not trying to battle against you and your communication, your support mechanisms that you provide them, right, they will always win. And 9 times out of 10, us as fitness professionals have been there, done it, and got the t-shirt. It qualifies us to guide them around the piles of shit that most people would normally have to go through to get to the golden results that they strive for. Does that make sense, people? Thumbs if it does. All right, if it doesn't, no, ask me questions. But what we've now done is I put together a training video. This can be found in stage 2, and it's called your motivational Kickstarter. Even though face-to-face clientele have more forms of accountability, obviously face-to-face, because they're doing training sessions with you in the gym. That's what online guys do not have. This motivational Kickstarter is a perfect way to pre-frame a journey, and it's the first thing that I recommend they kind of absorb from you once they sign on the dotted line, fill in their direct debit forms, and obviously therefore watch. It'll get them excited to take action. Now, has anyone heard of that motivational Kickstarter that we do for online guys before, or is this all new here? And what are people's thoughts on this? Because again, this gets your journeys off to the best possible start, and right from the off reduces the whole of retention in the business. So anyone input on this? What are your thoughts? You like it? You don't? We'll have a quick bit of a Q&A around this as well.
I think it's a pretty good idea, just because of the fact that it's literally going to be, you only make the video once and then you can use it for basically the rest of the time you're a PT. You can update it obviously, but it's just something that you've done and then you can just keep using it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So it's scalable first and foremost. And again, it's easy that you can kind of put this, drag and drop it into the, beginning stages of the journey and make it part of, like, when you're going through the motions, you sign up people to their direct debit, you get them onboarded with everything that you're doing, you just send them then the video and just tell them it's the first thing that you want them to watch. Get excited, and it paints the vision. So again, the training video, watch it, and it tells you what to sort of speak about. I just recommend it's added in, and you will have a positive boost with people's engagement.
Signing, that's stage 2?
Yeah, it's in stage 2. It's called a motivational Kickstarter video,
and it's open for us.
Yeah. Stage 2 is open for everyone that's on here.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be open. So good question. And yeah, just basically record it. Feel free to send them back to me. And yeah, like, just be yourself, guys. I think, we could kind of go down a rabbit hole here about all this sort of stuff that we normally speak about, but you always got to be yourself. The way in which you do coach these guys that you're working with, and a lot of you, again, in abundance, you be yourself, take your own twist on this video. But the main thing is just highlighting that you've been through it, therefore you know what they're going to encounter. You can tell them that they will have slip-ups. They will have days where they make good progress and they hit PBs and they're motivated. There will be days when they're not. And what this does, again, is just highlight that when they're going through, a few piles of shit, if you want to call it that they should stick it out and not just quit. Because again, that's what a lot of people do, especially in an online place. I'm working with people, online PT. If you pre-frame this stuff, it's a lot better. Any questions on that, guys? But that's just a new piece of content in stage 2, motivational Kickstarter. No. All right. Before we get into the main bulk of this, Jack, good to see you. Erin, good to see you. Charmaine, good to see you. Let's have a little bit of a Q&A about anything. Is there anything in anybody's business at all right now you need help, feedback with outside of the topic? Otherwise, we will get into our top 5.
I have a question, Simon.
Yes, darling. What?
So, like, I'm now able to go and PT in this other gym. So how best should I split my time? Because I'm obviously new at both of them. And what times would be best, do you think, to split my time between the 2 gyms? Okay,
it's a great question. So you can only ever advance momentum into one thing at a time. Personally, I recommend that you only focus on advancing momentum one thing at a time. But if you've got sort of existing clients at one gym and then you want to start another, focus your energy into the marketing at the one gym at a time, right? So you take your sessions you've got existingly at the first location, but your growth and marketing should always be done in one location at a time. And what this enables you to do is it enables you to run a strategy in one location, let it cool off in the other one. Then when that one cools off, we run it in the other one again. So you're actually getting 2 marketing strategies, instead of one, based on having 2 locations instead of one. I would focus your energy into that first strategy that we're running right now, floor to the floor, get that done. And I would put all of your focus into the new location, because when you're in a new location, it's new, it's exciting, right? It's new and it's exciting. So put your energy into that one for sure.
And just like evenings, best time?
Yeah, so look, mornings and evenings, best times, mornings and evenings. Think about it like anything that we do here, 9 times out of 10, we're unlocking foot traffic or unlocking how to use foot traffic rather. So think about when the foot traffic is going to be present. I've had it loads of times over the years, and most people are like, I'm in the gym, there's no one here. All right, what time are you there? Midday? Like come on, like you got to like break the comfort zone. Like anything that provides you with any sort of form of resistance to like show up when it's harder to show up, when maths is on and you want to be like Phil, who's obsessed with maths and like watch maths in the evening.
Don't share that, man.
I'm glad that shit's back. What's that?
You're not supposed to tell anyone, man. That's
no. I'll come with you. I equally love it as much as you do, bro. Like me and you against the world, brother. Right?
Yeah.
But look, you know what I mean. When maths is on, you got to go and floor walk, right? That's what we do.
So 0700, 0730, everything's sitting down on the couch waiting for maths to start.
You know, you meant to say to the guys, bro, that they go and walk the floor, right? That's what I meant. We have not watch maths, right? We can right? Give some better advice here, Phil. Come on.
Yeah.
So look, guys, that's what I recommend. Tammy, you got a hand raised? Is that?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
This is related to the question I was asking you yesterday and this morning. I wondered if anyone else had anything to say on it. I'm at a stage where like I'm at capacity and I only kind of I'm not ready to expand, like leverage, sorry. And if I do bring someone on, I want them to be like a very specific type of client. Like I want them to be very, I don't want to just waste my time anymore. Like I'm at capacity. If there is someone that's really good, then I would happily bring them on, but I don't want to just bring on anyone. I've had a consult with someone and I don't want to bring him on because it's kind of just going to be a bit of a waste of time. So I know not everyone's in the situation, but my question is, has anyone ever turned someone away and how did you do that?
Great question. Someone will have an answer for that. I don't need to talk about this one.
Yeah, I've done that before. So the approach that I took was just saying that I don't think that we're the right fit, and I don't think that I can help you with what you're needing. Just lay it on yourself, and then potentially recommend other trainers that you think that may be able to help them.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. 100%.
Yeah, and Tammy, we always say like we basically have the same speech. So like even if it's via text message or face to face, we say to them, hey, look, we'll sit down for a meeting. Let's go through your options, and then you can decide whether we're the right fit for you or not. That way you leave the ball in their court, and you can show them. You can sit down with them for half an hour and show them the things that they're available to them. And that's you putting everything on the table. So cool, this is us. This is our services. This is what you're going to get. This is what you can receive. It's up to you if you want to, jump on and be, make yourself accountable to receive these results. But you're not going to chop and change every single thing just to suit that client. You know what I mean? So your package is your package. And again, as Tane said, if they don't fit, recommend another trainer. So just and it's you being honest to them, and of course, it's you still providing that nice genuine duty of care to the person to ensure that, okay, I can't actually service this person. That's cool. Move them on with somebody that is able to help them, because at the end of the day, that person is still going to get further on their journey anyways, and so good for them. So it's all good.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, Tammy, we've combined what both of the guys said. I think a route for you that you might want to take, because obviously I know some ins and outs, a bit more detail about it, is just say, look, I know for a fact that this is what you need, right? And you can put it on them that, the silver is what they need, right? Because again, you mentioned obviously the drop sell to bronze, and just say, look, if the price isn't right for you or whatever, but we know it's price, just say, this is what I recommend, and I'd be doing a disservice if I gave you anything less, right? Because it's not about me taking a bronze or a less amount of money off you. It's not, right? I don't want to just take that. But what I need to do as a professional is guide and advise that this is what I recommend for you. If he then takes it, you've got him on what you want him to be on. He's again a lot more engaged. And basically, Tammy was saying to me, guys, and she wouldn't mind me sharing this, that you want to have people doing 2 sessions a week plus. Right? 1 session a week, there's not enough motivation, there's not enough accountability, they're on their own, there's 7 days before you're seeing them. People on bronzes, has anyone here got the best ever results you've ever delivered by being on a bronze? No, that's the answer. It's always the case. People that train more, they're with you more, they'll get better results.
He's also 77 years old.
Yeah, I know. And this is the thing, it's like, blessed, like this is an old dude who wants to get himself moving. But again, where we're at right now, Tam, it's one of those things, and as you said to me, how do I do it? Because I want to help this guy. I'd say, look, it's not about me taking money off you or anything like that. This is what you need, it is a tricky one, but when you're at that fully booked capacity, Tam, it's when you can kind of be picky. And I recommend that, you know, you are, excuse me, Blade, you got a hand up, dude.
Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Yeah, I just had a question because we were talking about moving to Pure Gym from my current gym, and the main question was, I think that's something we were going to be going ahead with. I wasn't sure if it was a set in stone. That's definitely what was going to happen. But my question was that if it was going to happen, at what stage will we be doing that, and what will we be doing up until we get to that point? Because obviously, I'm going to be inputting the floor to the floor marketing when I'm still at that gym. But what point down the line will we think about actually transitioning to the new gym?
It's a really tricky one for us, bro. Like I said to you, because you're not failing at the current gym. It's just not offering the demand that you strive for as a hungry entrepreneur. So do you know what I mean? And like, this is the thing, as we trickle on, you're growing, but it's just like this, whereas you would rather it like that. And therefore it's a simple case where it's like, look, the foot traffic can't give you that amount of growth. And what we do here, obviously, at Pinnacle is to show people how to unlock foot traffic, right? For most people that are face-to-face, when you can learn how to do this, guys, it's freaking easy. You know, like people that are in Pure gyms, they're in JDs, they're in anything like over here, like a Genesis or a Good Life, right? When you start marketing, when this little tweak on marketing, so for example, Zach here, bro, when we drag and drop our first strategy into your business, man, you'll be bursting at the seams. Literally, it's so simple what we do. You'll ask yourself, why didn't I come up with that? All right, and it's almost like it's too easy. So this is the thing, we've implemented that marketing. You are getting return. So because of the, like, you don't want to work in both at the same time and stuff like that. It's a really tricky situation, bro. There's not really like, okay, it's time to pull the pin now. Let's move from this gym and go into that, because you're still growing at that gym, you know? So, and again, it's whether you then have a conversation and speak to them and say, look, like, I want to work in both. I don't want to leave here. Or you just got to bite the bullet and say, okay, if we've got 10 sessions a week in this gym, you know, we can probably guarantee that 6 of them would probably come across. You lose 40%. You might, if you're going to throw one gym for the other, you're going to have to take a step back to move forward, and that's just the way it is. Otherwise, bro, just we just continue doing what you're doing. You know, we want to give everything a red hot crack inside that gym before we squeeze the juice out of that lemon before we move and cut another one open. Yeah.
No, that's fine, because I think I am getting better with the consultation, because it seems to be getting more stable with the amount of people that I'm converting. And like, I think I said to you, I made that Facebook post about the client success. That was the first time I'd actually put at the bottom, like, if you want to, you know, have me as a PT, like, go through this link and that. And nobody went through the link, but somebody had commented on that post asking about my services. And I'm almost 95% sure they're going to sign up with me as soon as they come in, because they're really hyped about it. And I was chatting on one of her posts and she was already referring to me as her PT. So it seems like it's a go ahead for that one. So it seems to be going quite well at the moment. It's just, like you said, I want to grow faster, but I'd rather just keep growing.
Yeah. And look, this is again, and just to wrap this one up, this is why, if there's anyone here that I've actually sourced locations for, I don't know, Tane, I think we found his, but there wasn't really much to choose from. If we source a gym for you, which is a golden goose, right, or a golden nugget gym, you're gonna fucking thrive so quick. And the only time where a lot of trainers will fail is if they're in a gym where the member to trainer ratio is not in their favor. So for example, like a Pure Gym or a Good Life or anything like that, where you've got 25 trainers and freaking 2,000 members, you're regardless of who you're working with, right? And at Pinnacle, you're working with the best when it comes to face-to-face. I'm just sorry, that's just the way it is. So you're going to thrive. You're going to grow quick, right? If you've got the right ratio. In that scenario, 25 trainers and 2,000, don't care, you won't. You can't. Imagine this, right? You've got all the strategies and you go into a gym with 0 members. You've got all the know-how. You put Phil, Nathan, Tane, freaking Charmaine, all these guys have been working with me for so long. You put them in there, good luck. You're failing. You can't succeed in a place with no foot traffic. That's the key, which a lot of beginner PTs never look at. They never look at member to trainer ratio. And if they've got the ratio, they just then 9 times out of 10 don't know what to do. And that's obviously where I come in. We're in the middle ground, Blade. So let's just see how things go with it. Yeah. And that's what I would say. questions? Anybody else about anything at all? About anything in the businesses? Zach, what do you got, brother?
So just looking at this new client I've onboarded, we're in his second week. He's missed both payments, and I just want to know how to like word a text or even what to say to him face to face, just to say like, hey, we need to get this back on track.
That's a great point. Basically, bro, I had this conversation with a few people recently. What I recommend is this: you're always taking payments in advance for everyone here who's listening, always in advance. And then what happens then is if a payment bounces, you tell them that their next debit will be a double debit, right? If that bounces, you cease personal training sessions straight away, and you do it with them face to face. If it goes past 2 or 3 debits, and this was a guy that you signed on 345s, wasn't it? Like a gold, it was a
360s.
360. So there's no, like, I hate to say this, but it's very, very low chance that someone will catch up payments on 360s, which is worth $300 a week, roughly. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. So they're talking, they go another week, it's nearly $1,000 in the red, and they'll just wiggle their way out. So I recommend that you communicate face to face with them and just say, we need to sort out your debits now because they've rolled over. Obviously, you've delivered the service. So how do we do it? And like what I would do is you always have to confront this face on, and it's coming from a place of professionalism and care, not I need my money. It's never ever about the money, guys. All of you guys that know this, work with me for a long time, you're here to change lives and give people opportunity. You're lenient, right, with a debit that if it bounces, that's fine. We'll continue training. Next one will be a double, FYI. But after that, it's kind of like, look, this is the T's and C's. This is what we signed up for. We need to, you know, you're running a business. At the end of the day, you know, if everyone could do what they wanted in life for free and everything costs nothing, then no one would be doing anything in terms of running a business. You know what I mean? You're here to provide, to be able to put food on the table for you, bro. So it's important you get paid. So I do it face to face, brother. Cease PT after 2 weeks of bounce debits with anybody. Like when we cease PT for weight loss clients that aren't losing weight within a 2-week period, I recommend you sit them down and have a very personal training session, right, rather than a physical one. So hopefully that helps, Zach. I do it face to face for sure as well. No text, because then that's when you'll see them no show, then they're a ghost, and then it is what it is. To take it to the next level, it depends on what happens here as well, bro. Who do you use for your direct debit?
Easy Pay.
Okay, Easy Pay?
Yeah.
Okay, they have a third-party debt collector, is that correct?
I'd have to look into it.
So basically, and again, this is like unfortunately what happens from time to time, guys. You never want to take it down this route, but at the end of the, and you can see with like my body language and my tone, I freaking hate that sort of stuff. I do, but it's fucking business and it's logistics that needs to be looked after. So what happens is these third-party debt collectors are in a position where they're there to take handle of these situations and to handle them for you. So you just say, look, I don't want to do this, man, because you probably don't, but I know that you do want to get paid. So just say the third-party debt collectors will be triggered and you'll go onto their list and they'll be in touch. And you know, that's what I recommend. You don't need to delve into it any deeper than that. Then you just cease communication. But hopefully it doesn't come to that. But yeah, definitely 2 weeks, stop, because you don't want to be over-delivering. Phil could probably tell you about lots of stories where we've had to try and collect over $1,000 of people where he delivered a lot of PT sessions and just never, because of the volume, never sort of kept a close enough eye, you know, and you learn from that stuff. But the good thing is you've got eyes on it, and we know when to stop delivering. Yeah.
Cheers.
On that, Zach, do you have it in your terms and conditions, bro?
Have what specifically?
So when they're about to sign up on the direct debit, are you able? Does the client read over your set of terms and conditions that you've implemented there? Like for this example, the missed payments and whatnot.
From memory, I've got something about it in there.
All right, just double check on mate and make sure it's in there, because you will get low shit, bro. Like everyone out there, you will get testy clients. You will get clients that will disrespect you and go behind your back and cancel direct debits without even telling you. All right, it's happened to me twice in the last year, And I've literally told them, do not come, in my nicest way, I've told them, do not come back to me if you've gone and done that, you know.
Yeah.
So end of the day, you know, we got staff to pay. We have our own kids to feed, our own bills to pay. We have to provide for ourselves. That's the things that we got to worry about as well. But these people, they forget that we run a business, and we have, you know, bills to pay for as well, and living expenses and whatnot. So I would recommend definitely get that into your get it like highlighted in red, underlined, capital letters in your terms and conditions. So then when you're about to sign the client up, you do explain, they can see it. Give them the form. Say them, put it up in their face and say, would you like to read the terms and conditions? And if they say no, and then they go and pull this on you, you have every right to turn around and say, hey, you know, of course, as Simon was saying, in your nicest ways, nicest words, look, don't forget, it is in your terms and conditions that, you know, this is a process, or we have to seize it, it's been this long, or, you know, whatever the situation is. That way it holds you at a strength, because you've actually got that there 100% in your terms and conditions without even, you know, having to maybe fluff about it, you know. So, and you will get clients that will test you. You know, I had a couple that I trained about 3 years ago, and they became friends with me as well. And they were doing like 3 sessions a week, probably $180 to $200 a week. And over, I think, 8 weeks or 3 months, you know, this couple was fighting, and they were fighting, and then they basically just broke up out of nowhere. And through the 2 to 3 months, they said to me, we'll pay the bills. I said, yeah, cool. Well, you know, it's all good. I'll let it go, because I see you every week, see you 3 times a week. I put my trust in them, you know. And then they broke up out of nowhere to be found, disappeared. So yeah, right. Here I am writing them messages to the missus and the partner saying, hey guys, you owe me $2,000. Like, I've put my trust in you, and you've taken me for a ride. And I told them about the whole court thing. I told them about the third party. No, I still haven't seen that $2,000, you know? So that's why it's very important, guys, have that in your terms and conditions, and stick to your guns. Stick to your guns. Otherwise, you will get taken for a ride from you know, these clients sometimes.
Personally, what I think you recommend I recommend that everyone does. And I think Charmaine, I think it was you I spoke to this morning about doing this, right? When you sign someone up, this is what you just say, right? So logistics first, guys, you get the paperwork signed. Main things is that there's 6-week minimum, 4-week calling off, or 2-week calling off. All right. Any debits that are missed, there'll be a double debit the week after. That's it. Cool. All of this is in the terms and conditions that will be sent to you, obviously, when we fill in our paperwork. That's it. You just roll it off the tongue, right? Because again, you know, like Phil said there very well, it's when you go scaling, right? Because that's what we're here to do, obviously, with a lot of you guys that want to run companies and help more freaking people. That's what we're here to do. You've got to have this stuff watertight. Your T's and C's have to be highlighted. I can remember personally, I used to avoid the T's and C's because I used to think that it used to give my my new signed client an opportunity to be like, oh no, I don't like that part, and they would like back out. So I used to avoid doing it, right? But until you just roll it off the tongue, right? There's a 6-week minimum, 4-week calling off, or 2-week calling off. That's it. Any missed debits, there'll be a double debit the next week. And that's it. All good. Cool, because they're at their most heightened point of motivation, so they will still take action with you. You've got to lie it out on the table. Make sure it's in the T's and C's, and make sure they received a copy. They receive a copy when they jump on board. So, yeah, Michael, what do you got, mate?
What I do is, if I've got one that's missed some payments, and I'll pull them aside and just sit down and say, hey, is everything okay? I don't even talk about the training. I just make sure that they're all right. Yeah. Let them know they're behind, and then they have to contact the debit company. So I've had a lot of them like that have had to actually make extra payments to do catch-ups on what they've paid. But if it goes too long, you send them off to debt collection if you have to.
100%. And that's why you've got to not get too emotionally invested into it. Do you know what I mean? I think this is all really good conversation. It's not like it's business, right? We have to talk about it. But hopefully that makes sense. And if you're using the T's and C's that are in the portal, that stuff will get you watertight as possible. Because again, we've been there and done it, you know, and that's the best performing T's and C's we've ever had. You've all got a copy of it, use it. And that's my advice. Now, we're half an hour in. I think we should probably start. Is there any anything else anyone wants to talk about quickly about anything? Otherwise, we're going to get into increased results and retention. Damo, what do you got?
Just like a random question. So with that, is there any like insurances that the business can take out to actually potentially cover any of that?
No, not really. Basically as well, like, so this is it's not, we need to talk about it because it's logistics. It's not a nice topic to talk about, like, you know, what to do with clients when they don't pay, you know, like, because we hope it never happens. No insurances, because the amounts that you're talking about, guys, are so little. People can get taken to debt collection who will blacklist, right? Who will blacklist clients, so their credit rating will be screwed. And this is Australia only, by the way, right? So they'll blacklist their credit rating. Like, as long as you follow all your processes, if that's what it goes to, that's what it goes to, right? And again, these guys need to kind of communicate with you if they're going through hardship. Ideally, you can't be a mind reader. Do you know what I mean? And it, like, from as far as I know, Damo, like, there's no insurances that you can take out to protect yourself of that stuff. Does anyone know if there is?
I talked to a direct debit company this week. Not so much insurances, but you can put certain things in the T's and C's where the charges that the direct debit company will take will be added on in addition. So you'll get the full amount, and then the direct debit company actually, other debt collection company actually charges them extra on top for having to go through them. So you can add that into your T's and C's, which is sort of protects you against having to pay the debt collection company themselves.
Yeah, nice.
That's good. Yeah.
Another question there, would, like, just in case you've done it, like, let's just say over a 12-month, over a financial year, let's just say there's like $5,000 of debts that have been unpaid. Is that something you can even like claim as a write-off with tax in it?
I don't think so, because it's not being paid. So you won't be able to write off what's not being collected. Otherwise, I'd say I've got 10 million outstanding. It'd be great. I wouldn't have to pay tax.
Yeah.
Like, you know, make up some bullshit contracts and then not pay tax. Actually, that's a loophole. I might have to look into that.
Because it could be, because, you know, it's just always thinking, you know, it's a loss to the company, right? It's like
100%. This is a great point, Damo. It is a loss. But this, look, I think all we can do is you have to be careful when you know that you need to new training for the portal. Yeah. Like, you've got to know when to stop delivering, right? Don't commit to delivering. You've always got to be on top of your bounce debits. You'll be notified of bounce debits, and just know if it goes past 2 weeks, stop. And then in person, like we're saying to Zach, confront guys, like, you know what's going on, debits aren't paid, we need to sort this out today, can we do a manual bank transfer, please? It's not easy to say that, right? But that's what you've got to do. And again, never text. You've got to take this sort of confrontation head on. And it's hard to, but it's what has to be done, ideally.
Simon,
yes.
Do you know if like personal trainers, or you know our field that Kelly and I are going into?
Yeah.
Can we get like an MPI number?
What's an MPI number?
So it's like a number for healthcare. And then the insurances pay, you know, like Blue Cross Blue Shield. I don't know who you guys have, but like that would pay for their session.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's what we over here is what we call NDIS. So the National Disability something Service, or National Disability Insurance Service. Aaron, what does NDIS stand for, bro?
National Disability Insurance Scheme.
There you go. So what that is basically Aaron, he trains a lot of people with special needs, and he's a freaking amazing guy at doing it. Super good level of clientele. And he invoices the NDIS for a lot of their sessions. So that's an insurance thing. I don't know whether there is anything over there that in the US that has it. Let's look into that though, because if they can get their training subsidized, they'll train you instantly, right?
Right.
This is why Aaron does very well too.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Let's get started. Go on. Who's that? What do you got?
Just a quick one.
Yes,
just with the T's and C's. So I'm getting people to obviously sign the paperwork and that sort of thing, give them a paper copy. Is it worth scanning and emailing them a copy as well, so they've got a digital one just in case they haven't?
Attach it on the back end. Attach it on the back end of your direct debit notification. So you should be able to attach it to as terms and conditions. That's emailed when they sign up with Easy Debit, Quick Pay, Pay Smart. Yeah. That's what I would do.
Yeah, because I haven't got that set up, and I've got people that have got. Yeah, I've had a client of mine that's just moved house, and she's thrown out a heap of her paperwork, and she goes, "I think I've thrown out all the paperwork that she's signed with me." And so I'm like, and
have you got a signed copy?
Yeah, so I've got a copy. Yeah, so I said I can scan the email to her, but I'm thinking just as a backup. That's something that's worth looking into, or that anyone does just as a backup, saying if for whatever reason, if people go through not paying or late cancellations or whatever, you can then say, well, here's a signed copy of the agreement that you've agreed to, and then send it through that way, so that way they can actually then go back and read through it if they've happened to misplace it or not have it at all.
You're 100% correct, Tash. And I think this is actually really good that we're speaking about this, guys, because it shows there's a lot of like questions around it and not uncertainty, but maybe I can sense like it does, because I've been there as well. It makes everyone anxious when you've got to go through this with clients, because it's like the logistics and it's like, oh, are they going to like the cooling off period or what? At the end of the day, what you've got put in place is there to protect your business. And when people are at their heightened level of motivation, where they're jumping on board, the T's and C's will not scare them away. So go through this with them, get signed copies, and then forget about it. It's the same with me. When everyone comes on board, sign the agreement, you pay your down payment, that's it. Let's rock and roll, right? That's what happens, right? And you've got to get it done, and then you can forget about it. Attach your T's and C's digitally in the back end, so that when they sign with their touch signature on their mobile, the electronic terms and conditions for PaySmart or whatnot, it's also attached in there, your terms and conditions. And yeah, that's what you need to do. Like, I used to do paper copies, and then I used to put it through, bearing in mind I'm old, right? And I was freaking 6 years ago, right? So I would scan, or I would photocopy it and give them some freaking black and white version, and then I'd have a version as well. But as long as you've got a copy, it's the main thing, and just say, look, these are the T's and C's, you know. And like I said, me and Charmaine spoke about it this morning. It's minimum term 6 weeks, 4 weeks cooling off. If the debit bounces, you're going to get double debited. Cool, because no one is going to say no. But they'll use it as a fucking excuse, and this is what will do your heads in when their debit bounces and they try and worm their way out of it. Yeah, and it's annoying to have to deal with, guys. So make sure you highlight it clearly verbally, and then sign an agreement so you've got two different ways you can fall back on. Yeah. And yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Have you any more questions there, Sue? What are you saying you need to? Anything?
No, I was just reading what Michael was giving in AJ.
Yeah, I think so. Health insurance trainer for sure, because a lot of health insurance will cover like physio or recovery, and again, personal trainings in there. It will all depend on how things are done stateside, and I've never looked into it. But again, so this is something me and you now focusing on this, you know, package that we're building. This is something we should definitely look into 100%. I've never had clients that are doing what you're doing specifically in that niche, so it's new for me. So I reckon let's look into it.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Anything else?
I just want to quickly say one thing. It's not a question. It's something I wanted to point out. We talked about MyFitnessPal, like basically putting behind a paywall with a barcode scanner. In the UK, it's still free. So if you set your location to the UK, you don't have to pay for it. So that's what I've been told. And in the UK, all my clients, they can still use it and they don't pay for it. So as far as I'm aware, and I've seen that post on Facebook as well, that if you set the location for MyFitnessPal to the UK, you can still use the barcode scanner for free.
Interesting. Okay.
Will the food come up in regards to UK food though?
It will.
That's probably a good question, actually. Yeah, it may do. So I couldn't say for sure, but all I know is that if you set the location to the UK, you can still use the barcode scanner. But I'm not sure if the barcodes will work the same. But as far as I'm aware, it will. But you might have to double check on that.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I think it's a great tip. Cheng, great to see you, brother. Great to see you, dude. So it's a great point, that it's a great point, right? This is like, and again, this flows into our apps. Now, I'm going to be careful here because we're 15 minutes. We had a good Q&A here. I'm going to ask you guys, do you want me to, so Cheng, you've come on board, bro. We haven't even started the main topic yet. We've just been talking for the last 45 minutes. So you haven't missed anything, brother. Do you want me to roll into this, guys, the top 5 apps, or do you want to save it? Like, I'm happy to do it, but I know a lot of this is normally around the time people start dropping off, right? I tell you what, we're going for it because I got time today, and I know a lot of you normally stick around. And with that being said, watch the recording, right? Don't forget to like and subscribe. So with that being said, I think this is a good transition point to go into the apps. I'm going to pre-frame by saying this: paid apps, people will pay for, right? Paid apps, people will pay for. Like, if it means that if their goals are of a paramount importance to them, they will pay for them. What's MyFitnessPal Premium? $19 a month, $5 a week, something like that. I don't know, because I don't.
$130 a year.
$130 a year. Yeah.
Payable up front.
That's the thing. So, like, and this is what I've got in the notes here, is that these paid apps and stuff like that, people will pay for. If it means that you can educate yourself, think about it like this, right? And this is where you as a trainer, guys, how you're communicating with your clientele is everything. If you told someone, if you paid $130, right, for MyFitnessPal Premium, right, and it would enable you to be educated along with the training that I provide you to fully understand, because this clientele is at the level where they need to understand macronutrients, calories, right, and obviously the proteins, the fats, the carbs, the macros. Do you think someone, to unlock the education and to make everything click in their head, would be prepared when they're paying you $100 a week? Do you think they pay $100 a year to be able to enable themselves to be educated? Yes or no? Yeah, I think so. I think you're all kind of nodding a little bit. However, it is an additional expense. So it'll come down to you and how much importance you put on it. So we talked about this and other things, you know, start off by Tammy's awesome plate, right? Or doing fist sizes and stuff like that, right? Or as Michael's plate and Tammy's analysis of like changing things out, from just making it easy. When they then need macronutrient coaching and stuff where the barcode scanner makes it easy, go for it. Otherwise, if you want to get around it, they don't need the barcode scanner. If you give them a list of foods with the macronutrient breakdown, and this could be something that, like Tamarose said before, she puts in her PDF that she gives people as a pamphlet, or like a book, an ebook, to kickstart them, what the sorts of foods they need to be eating are and how to find them in MyFitnessPal. This is all, again, value that we wrap into your tangible products, which will increase your conversion rates. Is everyone on the same page here? You see what I'm saying? You can get around these things. It's very easy to get around them. It's whether or not, again, you ask how to get around them and share, you know, which is what we're doing here. So people will pay for the apps. Let's get stuck into the apps. Now, I'm going to go through the first one because obviously we have just spoken about it. So in no particular order, we get these apps up. One of which is MyFitnessPal. Again, and I think it goes without saying, like most of these apps, or I'd say at least half of them you're going to know. There's a few that you won't. So plenty of value here for everybody. Now, where we go, get them up. Okay, so yeah, like, so MyFitnessPal, it's not really on my top, it's not even on my top 5 here, but you could put it in. It's essential you should be using it when people are ready to be logging their food accurately. So for example, I mean, we got Cheng. So Cheng's just jumped on board, guys. Cheng, super high level quality of results that him and his wife, who's a national champion, like they get for themselves. Therefore they attract that type of like clientele. These guys, they're going to want to, you know, be having the best form of tracking device possible. MyFitnessPal is pretty much what we recommend. Cheng, is that what you would use for nutrition tracking with clientele? Yeah, okay, all right, cool. Cool, awesome. I can't hear you because you're on mute, brother, but I get the point. Yes, brother.
Yeah. We spend a lot of time on educating our clients with MyFitnessPal.
Perfect, brother.
So we do like a Skype consults or face-to-face, and then I grab them like a couple of items and I show them like the nutritional content on each item, like a can of baked beans or something like that. So try to tell them that it's not about healthy foods versus non-healthy foods, but it's just about macronutrient content when it comes down to bodybuilding. So
100% right. And again, it's when you're at towards that elite level of nutrition tracking and accountability, MyFitnessPal is the app. Now let's try and go through these. Now, first and foremost, like we always talk about Trainerize, right? Trainerize isn't on my top 5 apps, but if you're using Trainerize, there's some additional things that can go with it. And this is a kind of sub app. Now, personally, I recommend, so when you're using scales, right? Fitbit app with scale synchronization, which will then sync with your Trainerize. And again, which ironically syncs with MyFitnessPal. All these things are kind of integrated. I have a pair of like Fitbit area scales. Does anyone have digital scales, Fitbit scales? Anyone? No? I would highly, you've got them, Aaron, well done. So I highly recommend, guys, that if you're using any form of app, right, like your Trainerize application, and most of these applications, you'll be able to plug and play various things, especially things recognized devices like Fitbit. So Fitbit area scales, digital scales that you can weigh people on. If you're using your Trainerize application with people, rather than doing this manually PT session log, which I still recommend that you do double up on, it will instantly sync and it changes. You see the wheel come up and it'll sync into Trainerize. That creates their graph rather than manually doing it. So Fitbit app, the Fitbit scales, they're really, really good. So that's number 1, right? I'll go brief overview and then we'll just go question and answering. The Apple, like, so, okay, these things, right? Like Apple Watches are a great way for people to, within a button, look at step count, right? Steps, simple form of cardio, energy out, energy in, 10,000 minimum steps per day, whatever people want to do. Using a Fitbit, again, which can sync them with the scales that then syncs with your apps. All of these things can give people clarity. And it's sort of a cool techie side as well. Like a lot of people like the tech side of things these days. Like using the health app in conjunction with your Apple Watches or Fitbits and stuff like that to give people clarity and overview over their calorie expenditure, which is getting them into a deficit, is just something else that I recommend. Now, does anyone here do that sort of stuff with their clients where they recommend the use of Fitbits or Apple Watches or digital techie stuff? Because that's what we're about here today with apps. Sue, yes. Anyone else want to share anything? Does it keep them more accountable doing it? Yeah, Nathan's thumbs. So like, again, this is what I personally would recommend. Now, there's 2 apps coming up. If no one's got anything on that, because it's pretty self-explanatory. These are the juicy ones. Who here uses MyZone? 1 person. Anyone not know what MyZone is?
No.
Well, okay, man, Cheng, this for you guys is killer. Was that your hand, Charmaine? Are you kidding me, Charmaine? Wow, that's crazy. So can I have a show of hands? Who's not heard of MyZone? Ray, Jade. For you guys, Jade, this is huge. This is massive. Okay, MyZone. Here we go. Here he is. This is MyZone, right? So MyZone's heart rate monitors. Now these things, MyZone. Basically, in short, what these do is they're the most sort of accurate heart rate monitors on the market. So clip around your chest, go for a run, anything like that. Now, what happens is you've got an app called MyZone, right? And I'll get it up and I'll show you. Now, what MyZone does, it creates friendly competition and therefore accountability, which increases results, which equals retention. So this is huge. Now, basically, this is what you will look like on a dashboard, right? Now, your heart rate will be classified in terms of, you can see this workout. So red, how on earth that person's got that much time in the red? Anyone that uses MyZone, Michael, that's pretty intense, right? So yeah, for you, for me it is anyway, mate. I don't need to work out as much anymore these days. Anyway, look, you can see it monitors people's heart rates, and these are all people that you're connected with.
I'm just old and fat and I've got to lose more weight.
Say again?
But I'm old and fat and I've got to lose more weight.
There you go. So that's why you're using it, like me, right? So basically, you can analyze here all these people's workouts. Now, all these people you'll be friends with based on MyZone having a hub or a gym location or a PT company, organization that will have, all right, that will have a MyZone sort of hub, if you want to call it. Every single person that gets one of these, when you set your app up, you can dedicate this device to one hub. And it's basically a points ranking system. Now, if any of you guys do group fitness classes or anything like that, with the addition of MyZone, on a screen, your heart rate of what your individual monitor, all right, is collecting, right, will be displayed on the screen. It's not confrontational because but what it will do is it'll hold you accountable to fucking push harder. When I first implemented MyZone into my workouts, it was at a time where the cut that I was in, we needed to take things to the next level. It freaking made me take things to the next level. And I was able very easily to be able to go, okay, based on your statistics, you know, your height, your gender, your weight, whatever, it calculates what you should be, all right, what you should be training at intensity wise. The whole nature of this being something that you can create a hub around and have people tune in with and connect with others who are working with the same trainer is a massive, massive tool that can create, you can do challenges on it. You can do everything like that, and it will drill and engage people in to push hard, but also see how other people are working out too. So I think I've done a pretty good enough job explaining that. Mike, do you reckon is that pretty much how you'd summarize it, mate?
Well, I came across it when I started working there at Snap a few months ago because they have it set up in all their clubs.
That's great. Yeah.
So yeah, I got mine given to me, and Nick just got one yesterday. But I've put a lot of my clients onto it, and the retention and the results is kicking in because they can see the leaderboard on the TV at the gym, and they're all trying to beat each other every week. Yeah, they're giving me shit when they're in front of me, and I'm like, but I'm not wearing mine all day, guys, like you. Mine's just in my workouts.
Yes.
But they will adjust with your fitness level as well. So as you get fitter, your heart rate, well, you're going to come down faster as you get, it adjusts your max heart rate level. So to actually get the points up faster, you got to go harder, and it just keeps pushing people more and more. So they're really good retention rate. Plus they're a hell of a lot more accurate than a watch.
100%.
I'll burn 300 or 400 calories more on the MyZone than I will on my watch.
Yeah. Now, I think there's a really important part here of this seminar today, gamification. Now, gamification, is anyone aware of like new tech, that sort of space, right? Like a lot of things that will be coming into the world in the next years, because the world is always changing, especially with the tech side of stuff. Gamification is humongous, right? In the sort of like Web3 space and all the techie space, right? Now, this here is basically gamificating your fitness. And like Michael said here, I can relate to it straight away. I don't think these guys will, but people that wear them in the gym all day just to get the freaking top of the leaderboard spot. Like I had a trainer that it was in my old gym. I'd only wear it when training, but when I'd go in, I'd be like, how the are these guys on that amount of points? It like you can only like those MEPs or whatever they are, might do about 100 to maximum 200 a workout, right? These guys are like freaking on like 2,000. I'm like, how are you doing that? Like you like it's important. They're wearing the heart rate monitor all day. They're wearing it all day. The reason why is because they want easy points. Because if you wore one all day, you'd have thousands of them. But it's meant to be only really used for workouts. But gamification, guys, gets competitiveness, right, to a whole new level. And again, you could put challenges into place. Again, increases retention. The next app I've got, I don't think anyone will have heard of. Maybe a couple of you when I brought this up in the past, but it's another similar approach. You can run challenges with MyZone. It will increase retention. It will get your clients to train harder, therefore they get better results. When you combine this with the other apps we spoke about, MyFitnessPal and all the accurate logging and all the scales, which are digital, this is kind of a new era, a new sort of techie sort of direction that everything's going in the fitness industry. Like, it's cool. It is cool. And I freaking love it, right? I love it. It's awesome. And it's because it's, when you game it, you gamify things. You'll hear that terminology now into the future. People get involved because playing a game is fun, it's competitive, and people forget about retention or being a part of an organization which you're running for a long period of time because they just want to keep playing a game, right? It increases retention. MyZone, guys, is freaking huge. And even if you guys just don't get the hub, right? You don't get the hub and you just run it through everyone's individual heart rate monitors and the apps and get people to add each other as friends, you'll have a big turnaround in people's output, which brings better results, which brings retention. Make sense? Yeah, check it out. About $100 for one of these, Mike, something like that, is it?
Depends on which one you get. If you get the MZ1, they're about $50. That just means that you have to have the app open when you're not in the gym. If you go into the gym, it'll automatically connect, because that's your hub. But if you got the MZ3, they've got a 16-hour memory, so you can go out and go for a hike. You don't have your phone on, and as soon as you're within Wi-Fi, it'll upload everything to the actual app.
Yeah,
track all your data.
MZ, that's what the one that I have, because I remember when you go
$90.
Yeah, so about $90 or something. MZ3 MyZones, I would probably go for that, because you can go train anywhere, and then basically you come back and your phone will sync and it will go retrieving data from device. It'll sync it straight across. It gives you your points. You got a leaderboard. Like, it's freaking insane. Tane, for you, brother, this is something that I would humongously be putting into the business. For sure.
You can also get compression shirts. Like, if some people don't like to wear the strap, you can like have a muscle shirt that's a compression shirt, and the MyZone will actually fit inside it. And same with the crop top.
Yeah,
they're not comfortable wearing the strap. Just put that on.
That's
it.
Still
Tracks everything.
You can and you take them off. They're easy to charge. Yeah, like
they do have MyZone scales too.
Say again.
You get MyZone scales and a MyZone watch as well.
There you go. There you go. So again, it's all part of these techie things. I mean, obviously I speak about Fitbits and Apple Watches, but the MyZone stuff, like, it is game changing, guys. I'm not joking. It is actually game changing. And again, for anyone who really wants to push clients, and you've got dedicated clients, like, if, for example, Cheng, if you've got people that are doing cuts, right, they're going into comp, and you want them to push, like, those MyZones, they're freaking awesome pieces of kit. They really are. Now, the next app I'm going to talk about is called Stride Kick. Now, have I told anyone about Stride Kick? No, that's good. MyZone and Stride Kick are the two main apps that not many people have heard of. The rest is going to be Fitbit syncing with scales, your MyFitnessPal, which will sync with obviously your Trainerize, and then the other app that I said before. Anyway, we're going to focus on Stride Kick. Stride Kick, like, it's gamifying steps, right? Like MyZone, it's gamifying, but Stride Kick is a step counting app, which again will sync with your digital devices. And again, these are gamifying things as well, right? I mean, being able to have a digital piece of kit that tracks steps. Like, what it does, it syncs your steps on your phone or your watch with the app itself, Stride Kick, and it basically enables you to create challenges to do steps. Now, my online coach, he uses MyZone and he uses Stride Kick, and I've therefore been there, tested them for long periods of time, and they work really well. He used to set up, so this is huge, he used to set up every time at Christmas throughout December, step challenges where he would designate all of his clients into certain groups. He would put a prize in place for the top group that gets the most amount of steps. Now, he would create the teams, right? Because you have people like, I mean, look, for me, like last week, I'm still feeling it. I did 40,000 steps one day last week. It was too much. It hurt a lot, but I normally do about 20. It's a lot. You'd have people that would like me. And if you gamify someone like me, who's a freaking competitive motherfucker, I'm going for the top spot, right? And it's that simple. That's what I'm doing. He'd break it down, so he'd have a Simon on one team and his other top guys he'd have on the other ones. And then he'd have people that would struggle to get 5,000 a day, right? And we'd be getting their weekly step count in one day, right? But you split it up, you put teams in place, and you gamify the time of year where people normally drop off. And it increases results, it increases community, it increases retention. You set step count challenges. Stride kick is what it's called, guys. Stride kick. I would do this, you could do this again as an ongoing monthly, right? Ongoing monthly client that gets the most amount of improvement or you know, on their last month. That's how I do it, not the most amount of steps, because certain clients would just win all the time. But you know, someone who betters their step count by the highest percentage gets extra training, you know, for free. Give them more stuff that again is going to benefit them to get better results, which again increases retention. Does that make sense? So these two apps, MyZone and Stride Kick, are huge. Now, any question on these sort of gamified apps, MyZone and Stride Kick? Charmaine.
So with the Stride Kick one, can the person just have their phone on them and it'll still count the steps?
100%. So this is the one thing, right? So there's discrepancy in this and this. Have you noticed that? Whether you like, sometimes your step count on that won't match that. This will match your steps, or this will log your steps as all the time. Obviously, this won't unless it's being worn, right? Obviously, that's got to be in your pocket. If you're not having any of these on your person, then it's not going to be logging your steps. So yes, you only need a phone. But I mean, for me, these things are lighter. So therefore, you know, you walk with it and it'll sync across to your phone, which then syncs with the app, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's what I do. Hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions, guys, on those? I mean, for people with large client bases, like it's huge, guys. This stuff is like, it's massive. And again, it's results equals retention. And these apps hold people accountable to take part in game experiences that will increase retention. Will they completely change your business overnight? No, but they'll add value, which means it justifies people to jump on board and work with you. You can put all this stuff into your tangible products, right? Which is stuff that we'll be creating. So especially for you, Cheng, just to give you some feedback on this, because it's your first week. We're going to start building your products with your price point and stuff. We're building your presentations. This stuff is like, it adds value. It justifies you charging that next bracket that we want you to obviously be able to charge, and then show you how to sell it with easy conversion rates. So get excited for that stuff coming up, bro. But yeah, 100%, guys. Those are my main ones. Is there anything that anyone else uses app-wise that anyone would like to share with clients that works well?
I've actually moved from Trainerize to EverFit.
Okay, interesting. I've never heard of EverFit before. Interesting.
So I find that EverFit is more intuitive for the user. Like okay. I'm quite basic when it comes to tech. So yeah. Trainerize, I was struggling a little bit, but EverFit seems to be like you don't really actually need to follow it step by step. It's very intuitive. So you just get the workouts and then you just put it in the weeks. And I got recommended EverFit by my PT manager, and I found that it's very easy to use.
That's awesome. EverFit, never heard of. I mean, there's heaps of these apps, right? There's heaps of them. It all comes down to personal preference. I mean, I always will say, guys, that I recommend Trainerize because it's the go-to for everybody, and I just use that personally. I just got personal experience, right? Look, this sounds awesome. EverFit, so awesome. Any other apps of any kind that anyone uses? I mean, the main two, again, just to highlight, it's about retention or results that equal retention. These gamified apps will definitely boost that. But anything that anyone else uses.
I use my PT Hub for all the training.
Yeah, my PT Hub is one. Yeah, PT.
It's a lot cheaper than Trainerize.
Yeah, Trainerize is more expensive. That's another thing, you know.
We use PT Distinction.
Yeah, PT Distinction's another one. There's a lot of them. Any other like bonus apps though on top? That's what I'm like, rather than just like delivering programs and nutrition. Any bonus apps that anyone else uses? Like a Stride or a MyZone?
I just use my Evolve one, but that's because I got the scanner.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, the Evolve ones obviously with the scanner is something that's going to be beneficial because you've got a scanner, which is good. But dude, guys, like at the end of the day, if that means you've taken away 2 apps that you can integrate, Stride Kick free, MyZone paid. Like again, it depends on the style of your training and stuff like that. But I was running like a split of like 5 weight sessions a week and then cardio on top. You know, like for the cardio sessions, the MyZone was a freaking game changer. And because I got to compare myself with others, I was like, I need to beat these people. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just, for me, it really did give a boost. And a lot of you guys will have clients that will be like that. 100%. Most people are driven and hungry, you know, we're entrepreneurs here. So there's a competitive nature in it, but it's all about having fun at the end of the day.
You see the MyZone in the, sorry, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say, would that MyZone be good for, you know, if you have like one-on-ones, or is it just a group thing?
So it's a great question. I was going to say before, so Tane, for him, huge. For you guys, this would be massive as well, Sue. For you and Kelly to integrate this, because it gets rid of everyone's BS excuses that Kelly has to deal with, that she's sick of dealing with. It gets people to freaking either train or leave, right? You know, without being too blunt. One-on-one, I use this only one-on-one. I don't do it in group settings. Like what I'm doing though is when I do a HIIT or a condition workout, right? Then it logs everything. And you got to think, my online coach, guys, he's in the UK, right? So when I'm using him, I'm the only Aussie client that he has. And I would show, so obviously the time difference, right? If that guy was doing a workout at nighttime and I was doing one in the morning, I'd show up on his screen. It's like Simon's doing his workout. He'd see my heart rate on the other side of the world. And then I would therefore get my points and then rank on the table. Do you know what I mean? So I'm only doing workouts on my own on the other side of the freaking world compared to where his guys were doing group sessions, one-on-one training sessions on their own at their gym or at his studio, like whatever it was. You don't, like, it's good where you've got everyone displayed on the screen at once, right? But
They have the tools like that here, like Orange Theory, they have all that.
Yeah, you could do it. Like you guys for the home studio, I honestly, it would be, even for one-on-one, Sue, think about it like this, right? You'd have a TV on the wall, just like behind where your clock is there, right? TV on the wall, MyZone. It adds a massive element of professionalism as well. And then you've got everyone with their heart rate monitors. You can become an affiliate of that as well, right? So you'll get paid a percentage for when they buy them. So they obviously give you a kickback, which is a bonus. But then when they come in, it's like, right, heart rate monitor's on, let's get to work, right? It makes people train harder. So I always talk about with clients, like you've got to be analytical of your client's RPE, right? The rate of perceived exertion, make sure they're training at the right intensity. If they're not, the screen's fucking telling you that they're not, right? So it'll enable you to push them harder. Okay, right, let's take the intensity up a little bit more. Instead of 20 reps, you're doing an EMOM, right? Or you're gonna do as many reps as possible. You're doing an AMRAP setup because they're just not getting pushed. And for a lot of people that aren't able to as easily gauge the rate of perceived exertion, how hard the clients are training at, these devices do it for you. And I found that I was basically a bit of a bitch when I was training until I got the MyZone, and it made me freaking push. And you go into those red zones, you freaking know about it. You know about it. It's not
for lifting weights as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So it's a heart rate monitor. So even if I go do my steps, my cardio.
Oh, nice. Okay, I thought it was the cardio part. Okay.
No,
I was at 190 on my heart rate doing squats the other day.
There you go.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I'm telling you, it's freaking insane. It's really good. And if you love your training, you train with one of these on, and if you've got the hub there to save you looking in the app the whole time, because your app has a tile and the tile tells you what your current heart rate is. If you can see it on a screen, you'll watch it, and it goes up blue zone, green zone, yellow zone, red zone. And obviously with weight sessions, you're not going to get up to higher zones. But if you're doing HIIT cardio, It's freaking insane. It just pushes people.
Awesome. I'm excited. Thanks for that.
I would definitely have one in the background up there, and it's not going to break the bank either. Like a few $100, I think, maybe for the hub. Do you know how much the hubs cost, Mike, or anything?
To set it all up.
Yeah, the TV.
No idea. It was all set up in the gym when I got there. But they're good for the client retention. But you also see, like, the end of the month, everyone trying to get #1 spot on that board. And like one of the guy that won it last month, he was in there for 2.5 hours in the yellow and red zone the whole time, flogging himself.
Exactly.
He's always first, and there's more people now, and he was trying to get his #1 spot back.
There you
go. It's also good calorie wise with your clients, because if they do actually wear it through the day, you know what they're really burning on their calories, so you can adjust the nutrition. But one of the girls, I think she's #3 on the leaderboard at the moment. Her job is in a shopping centre, cleaning the shopping centre and pushing trolleys all day. And she's at like 3,500 points on that thing this month.
Yeah.
And we've still got, what, 6 days to go.
Yeah.
So she's 1,000 points in front of me.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, really well said there, Michael. It enables you to gauge these guys' deficit or surplus depending on their goals with calories, because if they're freaking so hungry to compete, right, with the MyZone leaderboard, they can get more calories. Do you know what I mean? You can give them more calories, which means that their weight loss goals or their whatever goals they've got will become more attainable and sustainable, because they're getting more fuel rather than being in a monstrous deficit. You know what I mean? Eating freaking 1,800 calories and burning freaking 2,000 a day, you know, or burning 4,000 a day on top of their BMR. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's huge. It's
when I'm doing my weight sessions, my Garmin will get me, like, my weight's hour to an hour 15 on average.
Yeah.
And my Garmin will have me at 700 calories burned, and I'm burning between 1,100 to 1,300 on the MyZone in a weight session.
100%.
And yeah, I'm in a big deficit moment. That's why I'm dropping weight. But yeah, when you're seeing your clients, they're burning 2,000 and 3,000 calories a day just at work and doing a workout. They need to eat a hell of a lot more food.
That's right. That's right. And I think because otherwise their body is just going to, it won't drop fat because it's going to go, why? I'm not getting enough food, right? Not getting.
Have you seen the fitness test on it?
No, that scares me even just thinking about that.
When you go into the menu, it's got, I'll bring mine up so I can tell you. Go into activities.
Yeah.
And then it's got the MyZone test. So it takes 12 minutes. I do it on a bike, and they have to match the heart rate zone for like 2 minutes at a time. So you'll start at like 60%, you're going up into the 70s, and then you end up doing 3 minutes between 80 to 85% of your max heart rate. Then the test stops, you rest for 2 minutes, and your heart rate has to come down as fast as possible. The more it comes down, the better you'll score. So you can do that like every couple of months with them, see if they're actually getting fitter.
There you go. You do your fitness. So this is actually, I've never seen this, but there's zone matching here. There's beep tests. There's personal goals, like for you to get your points on your own. Then you've got the test 2.0, which is calculating your VO2 max based on a 2 or 3 minute heart rate recovery period following a 10-minute fitness test. That scares me, like, basically. It freaking pushes you. It's hard work. I would be pouring with sweat, this stuff. It was awesome. And that's what helped me get into, you know, my lightest shape, my leanest shape. But yeah, honestly, great app, guys. Like, and again, it's a gamification sort of take on things, but that's really cool. I didn't know. I might go and I probably won't, but yeah, test one of them out today. But I am training next, so let's see. Guys, with that being said, we actually got through the last part a little bit quicker than I thought. But those two, mainly Stride Kick, MyZone, and then again using apps like Fitbit, which is your scales that integrates everything else, MyFitnessPal, and one sort of application for training. That's it. But those two are the main two I wanted to share. Any other questions? Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up here, guys.
I just had one quick question.
Yep.
Obviously, I've moved away from TrainerWise now because I was basically spending £50 a month on basically a bodyweight tracker because everything else I can do manually. So we obviously talked about it on Boxer, but did you or anybody else have any apps that are good for clients tracking their weight that comes up with a graph that I can personally see? because through my fitness pal, I can't see like a graph of their weight unless I'm just missing something.
Fitbit. The Fitbit app.
So
that's what I.
Oh, you can do that with a Fitbit app, can you?
Yeah, I'll show you it just quickly on here because I'm pretty sure it's got everything you need.
Oh, one thing I just wanted to point out: Fitbit recently got rid of their challenges and things like that, and tons of people are moving over to that stride kick, and so the servers are a bit slow at the moment, apparently.
Okay, so
yeah,
Stride Kick, it is a British app, I think, as well. That's why, again, my coach using it. Yeah, he's in England, so yeah, there you go. Server might be slow, but yeah, it was actually a little bit slow. Like it might take some time to update, but it always logs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fitbit.
Yeah, I used to have a Fitbit myself until the watch broke, and then I got rid of it because I was tracking my sleep every day as well and optimizing that, so it was really good.
100%. I would honestly say that the Fitbit app for me is probably better than your Trainerize in terms of weight, but it syncs with it. But yeah, this does the same thing. It goes plot, and then it plots another bit on the graph for you, and it's unreal. And if you get a play of digital scales, right, and then you have everyone with an account on their phone, so you set them up with a Fitbit account, you sync it to that device. I don't know whether you can have multiple accounts synced to one device. That's the only thing, because they obviously want everyone with their own device to have their own account. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but if you could do it where you can sync everyone's account to your one device, I would have that in the gym, and you weigh everyone and it will just plot it. It will go drop the kilo, and it puts it on a graph. And then obviously you start screenshotting that. It's social proof. Look at Blade's results here. He's been working with this for 8 weeks. So it's good social proof. So these are really good things to add in, guys. 100%. Any other questions? No, we're good. All right, go check out the stuff in the portal that's new, like I was saying at the start there. Chen, you didn't really miss very much, bro. Great to see you on your first webinar. You did show about half an hour late, but we were talking crap well, it wasn't crap. It's always good conversation. We were talking for the first half an hour, so we'll see you again.
Apologies about that.
No stress, brother. It's always 10 a.m. Vic, which is I think is 9:30 SA at the moment, right? I think. Are you half an hour? What time is it now, Chen?
It's 8:20 at the moment.
8. Oh yeah, so you're WA. I don't know why.
WA, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So you're 3 hours difference. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So it's always going to be 7:30, or 7 o'clock for you guys until the clocks change, and then it'll get easier. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. This will be uploaded onto the portal shortly. Great to see you all, and I'll speak to you all soon.
See you.